never made it, but I know what it takes. I'm motivated by a mix of...
Hi there, this is Adele, and welcome back to Bright Anime. Today we are going to talk about the times Edward showed his true feelings for Winry. Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood is heavy on worldly themes such as sacrifice, redemption, the horrors of war, genocide, the price of ambition, and more. But all these dark themes are balanced with stories of hope, courage, and love, and the heroes of Fullmetal Alchemist prove that humanity has a light side to match the dark. Just look at Edward Elric and Winry Rockbell. Despite everything Ed has been through, he will never give up hope of a better world. His motivations were always centered around his family, including his younger brother Alphonse and their mother. However, Ed would eventually realize that his heart belonged to his childhood friend, Winry, and these romantic feelings were made clear more than once.
Sure, no problem.
Yo, Ed, my boy! Is it true you brought a pretty blonde girl into your room to you?
She's my auto mail mechanic, that's all, nothing more!
Early in the series, during Ed's hunt for the Philosopher's Stone, he got himself injured and ended up in the hospital. Winry paid a visit from the distant resemble to see him, and the two quickly established their dynamic to the viewers with mutual teasing and some soon-near action on Ed's side. However, almost as a matchmaker for the audience, Mies Hughes then arrived and suggested that Winry was Ed's adoring girlfriend. Hearing Mies blurt that out caused Ed to react so strongly that his wounds opened back up, and he fainted. Later in the series, Winry learned that her parents' killer, the vengeful Ishvalan monk nicknamed Scar, was on the loose. Winry seized a pistol and went after Scar in a fit of rage and grief, but when she came face to face with him, she hesitated. Scar warned Winry that if she fired at him, he would attack her, and this moment would decide if Winry was a killer at heart. Edward intervened, putting himself in between Winry and Scar, risking his life to shield her from her parents' killer and from making a life-changing decision. Edward had many reasons to make this daring move, mainly to prevent Winry from falling victim to the endless and futile cycle of hatred and destruction. But he also did it out of love, gently reminding Winry that her hands are made for healing, not for harming others. Knowing what the act of becoming a killer would torment Winry, Edward did everything he could to convince her, and ultimately, she realized he was right.
But what do I know? I've only got Lieutenant Hawkeye's experiences to go by. And she thinks I...
Speaking of Winry, you're in love with her, aren't you?
Some of Ed and Winry's romantic scenes were quite serious, while others were classic shonen slapstick. But that didn't make them any less touching. Halfway through the story, the Elric brothers visited the northern fortress of Briggs, and the bitterly cold temperatures affected Ed's automail. He only trusted Winry with his automail arm and leg, and he was secretly delighted when his childhood friend arrived. Getting so intimately close to Winry reminded Ed of a chat he once had with Lieutenant Riza Hawkeye about the Ishval Civil War, ending with Hawkeye suggesting that Ed had romantic feelings toward this girl. A flustered Ed tried to distract himself by reciting the periodic table in a cold sweat, and Winry wondered how on earth she fell in love with him.
Why did I have to fall in love with such a weirdo?
Huh? Did you say something?
No, Ed, I didn't say anything.
When the villainous father finally went down, and Greed gave his life to help save the day, the survivors were left to pick up the pieces. Al had his body back, Edward had lost his alchemy, and Van Hohenheim was dead. But peace had returned to Amstress. In a touching epilogue scene, Ed met with Winry at the Resemble train station before departing, and he worked up the guts to ask an important question.
Equivalent exchange! I'll give half of my life to you if you give half of yours to me!
It's nonsense! How about I just give you my whole life?
By referencing the law of equivalent exchange, Ed asked Winry if he gave her half his life, if would she give him half of hers. It was a round-up marriage proposal. Still, once Ed quit using silly alchemy talk, Winry said yes, and sure enough, A photograph proved that the two of them had a happy family together. They both earned it. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe. Bright Anime will always bring everything brightest about all anime.